One of my clients signed $18,720 of brand new one-to-one coaching clients in just 5 weeks. And today we're gonna break down how this happened. What were the shifts we made? How did we actually create this result in such a short period of time as well? And the extra amazing part of this client case study is that when we first started working together, we were having a conversation about how one-to-one clients and signing them felt really unpredictable for her. She didn't know when they were gonna be coming in. It was definitely not something where she would have several coming in over the span of 5 weeks and make almost $20,000 in brand new sales. That was not her reality at all. And she was working 6 days a week to really get her business running and to really build this up, and at the same time struggling to get consistent one-to-one clients to the level where she was fully booked. But 5 weeks later, she was starting a wait list. She had signed so many new clients into her program, and in just these 5 weeks, locked in almost $20,000 of brand new sales. So if you want to see what it takes to sign $18,000 of brand new clients in literally just over a month for one offer as well, then keep watching. Okay, so flashback to when we first started working together. This client was in a position where a lot of clients will be when they come into my one-to-one coaching program, where she was doing all of the things. She was showing up in so many different places. She was spending a lot of time and energy on marketing, and she was just posting a lot. She was doing a lot, and the sales were coming in for sure. She was at about 6K months at this time, but she was not seeing the numbers where she wanted them to be, especially when it came to her one-to-one. She'd had this program open for quite a while, alongside a lot of other courses, smaller programs, membership as well. And she was really wanting to grow these programs to actually get to the point where her one-to-one actually had a wait list. And it was not something where she just constantly had open spaces for. So I remember one of the very first conversations we had was really about her work schedule firstly, because at the same time as really wanting to get these extra one-to-one clients, this client was working Saturdays. She was working 6 days a week to really maintain everything in her business. And it was really looking like there wasn't really the space to actually be bringing in these extra clients at that point. And I see so many, especially solopreneurs in this place where we don't have a huge team. So obviously our time is naturally limited. And we get to this place of we're doing all of the things to maintain the current results. And then we want to be growing, but we don't really have the room to be doing this necessarily. And yes, it sounds great saying, okay, what do we need to do to get those extra clients? And also we need to be working less to even have the capacity to fit in these clients, let alone actually live our lives and create the life we're actually wanting outside of the business. So one of the very first conversations we had was on where her time was going. And we really realized that a lot of her marketing efforts were not moving the needle. When we really took a hard look at where her clients were actually coming from and where the leads were coming from, and realized that her spending time on certain platforms, for example, Instagram, were really not working with her, and she just didn't need to be spending time there. She was much better focusing on her email list, was the huge driver for her, and also the videos which she was putting out. These were the things which were getting her results. So we really cut back on the Instagram, and she ended up stopping posting completely on this platform and just using this as a shop front, essentially leading towards those other places when people would find her naturally there. But we really doubled down then on those other platforms because suddenly we had hours back every single week that were being spent on Instagram, and we were able to spend these on the email list and on her videos and really curate the sales content which she was putting out there. And even in these platforms which had been doing really, really well for her, she was feeling really scattered because she had so many different offers. She was talking about so many different things. There was a course, and then there was this, then she was launching this thing over here, then she was wanting to promote this freebie, and she was constantly bouncing between different things. So we set the goal for 30 days to really focus in on getting some of those one-to-one clients to really lock in a really solid foundation of 6-figure income for her. And we did this, and we focused on that over the next 4 or 5 weeks. And within 5 weeks of this, we'd got her those one-to-one clients, and she was creating a wait list for this program because those spaces were all full. And this is really a testament to just getting focused and getting simplified, because she was doing all the things, she was speaking about all the things, but as soon as we got focused on the channels which were actually getting her results, and we just focused on those, we focused on utilizing those platforms of what was already working for her. And then at the same time, we focused on selling one thing. We focused on one message towards one offer. That's when she started seeing traction like she had not seen before. And she was able to secure $18,000 plus of brand new sales for her one-to-one program. This equated to 6 brand new one-to-one clients for her, which is huge. And these clients, some of them ended up re-signing again. So this just built so much sustainability for her in terms of her income. But being able to just over that month, being able to lock in $18,000 of sales was huge for her, and was the thing that not just tipped her over the 6-figure mark in her business, But also at the same time, she had gone down to 4-day work weeks. She was working so much less than before because we'd cut all the things that were not working. We'd cut all the things which she was spending her time on, which weren't actually getting her clients, weren't actually getting her leads. And I see this so often where we're just doing all of the things trying to think that's going to achieve us better results when actually simplifying and getting focused on the platform that works, the sales strategies which are working, really creating those sales pathways and building those out, and focusing on one offer that you really want to see traction with over the next month. That is what worked for her. That's what got her these results. And by getting really simple and focused, we were able to work on the next thing which we worked on, which was her messaging. We were able to get really clear on who she wanted inside this program, what was the transformation, and how did she help people inside of this? Because as soon as you do get clear on selling one thing, it gives you the time and space again to actually focus on that offer and making the messaging and the sales content around that the best it can possibly be. So we actually had the time and space then to be able to focus on that and really refine who she was speaking to and how she was speaking to them. So again, that also really helped her to connect with ideal clients who had literally been in her audience for months and years and just hadn't bought yet. And it allowed her to actually get those people off the fence. And then after we'd got this really clear focus, after we'd nailed down this messaging for this one-to-one offer, we built out sales pathways. So we were really intentional at this point with, okay, we knew her email list worked really well for her. We knew the videos worked really well for her. We had the really clear messaging for what she was going to help people achieve inside of her program. And we were reiterating this through all of the sales content, through all of her marketing, which she was now spending about half the time on. And through this, we then looked at what were those sales pathways? What were the ways people were coming into her space? One thing which we created together was a freebie quiz funnel. And this really helped to segregate people into what they were looking for to get really targeted emails then focused on kind of exactly where they were at. And that really helped in terms of bringing people into her one-to-one space, especially when she had a high volume on her email list. And she knew that there was a lot of people who could be really good fits. They just never heard the right messaging for them specifically. So we created this email funnel together. We worked on a few other pieces and we really just built out some beautiful sales pathways, which allowed people to constantly be coming into her spaces. And the byproduct of this as well is that not only did those one-to-one sales increase and she saw those $18,000 of brand new one-to-one sales over that month, but also at the same time, her membership was suddenly getting so many new people applying. A membership that previously had been not really getting much traction. She'd been occasionally every few months, she would get one person sign up. She was literally getting someone sign up every single weekend. We would come back into our Messenger support, into our Spotlight app on Monday morning, and she would have had someone sign up every single weekend for a couple months straight. And this was something that she wasn't even directly promoting. This was the side piece. This was the downsell from the one-to-one. And this worked so beautifully because it allowed her to get really focused with this one-to-one. All traction was leading there. All the sales pathways were leading there. And also naturally, there was this really great step down then that people were taking in a way that they'd never taken before. And this simplicity, this focus is what allows you to get so intentional with where your time is going, because every single thing that she was putting out was in some way leading towards one of those sales pathways towards her one-to-one program. Every single thing she was putting out. She was getting so many applications, she was getting discovery calls booked, and she was more importantly signing clients for this program because she got really focused and intentional and wasn't spending all her time scattered on so many different areas in her business. So those were the three things which we shifted, and that was what created this huge result. It was really just getting simple and focused with where her marketing and sales time was actually going, getting that messaging then locked down for what that offer was going to be about, how we were speaking about and communicating that, so we were actually reaching the right high-level client, especially for a one-to-one program. And then thirdly, building out those sales pathways so we were able to actually get people consistently coming in, not from one route and hoping and crossing our fingers that this one was going to work, but building out multiple ways people could come in, and applications came in through all of them. This is the simplicity that scales. This is where you can scale your business, and it becomes easy for you to do that because after we'd finished working together, she was no longer working 6-day weeks. She's working 4-day weeks. She has Friday off and now Saturdays off. So she can fully have her weekend and extended weekend off every single week. She was receiving new sales coming in on the weekend as well while she was off for her membership. She was creating a wait list for her one-to-one program because her spaces were now full after years of having just a few clients inside this program and never really more than that. And she was able to lock in 6 figures of revenue for her business. This is a complete game changer for her. It gave her the freedom and the flexibility to actually have a life outside of the business and build the life she wants. And also it made her business so lightweight and so easy to scale. And this is the piece we forget when it comes to scaling. We think we need to do more and add more, but actually you getting really focused on becoming known for something, building around one key offer, and simplifying where your time and energy is going, that is the way to scale. If you would love to do the same, I would love to work with you inside of my one-to-one coaching program. I will put the application below. So if you go to the link in the description, you can apply to have a call with me and we will talk further about your business, where you're at, and how I could help you grow and actually scale the simple ways you can actually live the lifestyle that you want outside of your business. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss new videos every Sunday. Make sure you give this video a like, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.